What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video, because it looks like Bournemouth could be forced to sell Antoine Semenyo in January for a 65 million transfer fee because he has a release clause which will be active in January. That's what David Ornstein, a very reliable journalist, is reporting, and Bournemouth may be powerless to prevent the sale of Antoine Semenyo, and Liverpool are very actively talking for 2 months now with Bournemouth. Richard Hughes, the sporting director of Liverpool, who used to work at Bournemouth, has of course a lot of contacts. He knows a lot of people at Bournemouth, and this release clause is available to all clubs, but it must be triggered by a set date so Bournemouth can look for replacements for Antoine Semenyo, and it applies. The release clause is active in the summer, but for an even lower price. So Bournemouth might be motivated to sell in January to get the maximum amount of money for Antoine Semenyo, and I think this was a very smart play by Antoine Semenyo's agent to put a release clause into his contract for January, active for a higher fee, and for the summer, active for a lower fee. So that gives Semenyo plenty of options to choose from, because a lot of clubs in England can pay this 65 million transfer fee, and that's a good price compared to a lot of other attackers in the Premier League, especially with the season that Antoine Semenyo is having. He's having as many goals and assists as games he played almost. And there are rumors that we already approached Antoine Semenyo's agent and representatives, and that we are talking with Bournemouth as well. And also the timing is very convenient, because Antoine Semenyo would come in as Mo Salah leaves for the Africa Cup of Nations in January, and also Semenyo is African, he is from Ghana, but his nation failed to qualify for AFCON, for the Africa Cup of Nations, so he's not eligible to play there. So I think Semenyo could come in and straight away replace Mo Salah short term and in the long term. In the next 2 or 3 years he could become Liverpool's main right winger. And another journalist is reporting that Richard Hughes, Liverpool sporting director, is in direct negotiations with Bournemouth for 2 months now to sign Semenyo. Liverpool are the only favourites to sign Semenyo in January, and Arsenal don't have cash flow problems to sign Semenyo, but they are close to the financial fair play limit without player sales. Under UEFA's squad cost ratio rule, they might have to sell 1 or 2 players if they want to sign Semenyo, but Liverpool don't have any such problems. They are nowhere near their threshold for FFP, so I think Liverpool could easily do this deal. Of course, we should focus on the defense as well, but I think Liverpool are working on a centre-back signing hopefully in January. The Leone injury didn't help Liverpool's season at all, and teams have been targeting Konate, who had a very shaky start to the season, but he's improving and hopefully he can get back to his best. And Tim Sherwood, a pundit on Sky Sports, said that Semenyo needs to keep himself fit. There will be a queue a mile long for this boy. He's top drawer, really a wonderful player. He doesn't have to settle into the Premier League. You know what you are going to get. The only question mark would be, it's okay playing for Bournemouth and Bristol City, but can you play for Liverpool, for a mega club? Can you play for Tottenham when the spotlight is on? Can you play for Arsenal? He reminds me of his career is a bit like Eze, a little bit. He has stepped up. Eze has stepped up at Arsenal. He has been outstanding. There's never a 100% sure thing, but I think he's the nearest you are ever going to come to getting a player ready to deliver in the Premier League. He's a unique player, that's what Jamie Redknapp said. It was a hard night to play football when Bournemouth won 3-1 against Fulham, but it didn't matter to Semenyo. He just glides across the pitch. He's an incredible, unique talent, such a fantastic player. He's so easy on the eye. Whether it's his left foot, right foot, it doesn't matter. The manager makes good assists. Iraola is getting the best out of Semenyo. He built the side around, Semenyo to get the best out of him. And if you have Semenyo on your team, you always got a chance in a game, because he's such a unique player and he can score a lot of different type of goals, left foot, right foot, header. And I think this release clause is actually great news for Liverpool, because it's less than what was quoted about when the journalist said that Bournemouth would want 80, 90 Some journalists even suggested they want £100 million for Semenyo. Secondly, the fact that Semenyo is classified as a homegrown player, which of course the Premier League clubs must register 8 homegrown players from their 25-man squad. That's another bonus, and he can play off the left wing or the right wing. That's a huge incentive for Ornstein. He can play as a false 9, as a striker as well, and that gives cover for Liverpool in all attacking areas, which is fantastic news. Of course, Bournemouth will try everything to keep Semenyo at the club, but the release clause makes them powerless really. If somebody puts money on the table, then it will be very, very difficult for Bournemouth to keep Semenyo at the club. And Bournemouth is chasing a European place, so they are not going to sell Semenyo easily. Semeno said, I don't think it's going to be a mid-season departure. I don't think it's going to be with Liverpool. I think Liverpool is going to be very quiet in the January window. In the summer it can be different. I still want to respect Bournemouth. Let them enjoy the player. It is still November and they are not planning for Semenyo to leave in January. There is a lot of interest in the player and there is a release clause, so it is a super interesting situation. But I think it is for the summer window. For January it's very unlikely that Bournemouth would let Semenyo go. But of course it's up to Semenyo really. If he says, you know, listen to Liverpool's offer, then Semenyo could be gone in January. The managing director of Bournemouth, Thiago Pinto, has said Antoine Semenyo has been amazing this season. I think he's a lovely player, a lovely boy. For us, it was amazing to feel that he would be happy to stay one more season, even if other clubs were around him. I think he scored 8 or 9 goals this season, so we couldn't be happier. I don't know anything about the contract of the players. He said, I don't know how much they earn and I don't want to know either. He was asked about the release clause. The most important thing for me is that he continues playing well, Semenyo. If he does, there will be more noise, but it's something we take if he's playing well. My concern is to keep him in the spot where he is playing well. Reporter Dean Jones said, even at Bournemouth there is a realization that beyond this season, keeping Semenyo is going to be extremely difficult, especially if his release clause is lower than the £65 million initially thought. And Liverpool are dealt some blows in this transfer race as well, in terms of some journalists don't think Semenyo will leave in January. Dean Jones said, from my current understanding of the situation, the clause in his contract would not be live at this stage. No interest in allowing it to happen in that moment in January. But in the summer, Semenyo is almost 100% leaving. It's just a matter of, you know, can Liverpool convince Bournemouth to let him go in January? Can Liverpool convince Semenyo to join Liverpool in January? I think if we say to him, you will have Salah's spot until he's back at the Africa Cup of Nations, and then you will play a lot of games at striker, at left wing, wherever Liverpool need him. And I also have to talk about the Hungary-Ireland game, because I was watching the game. I wanted to attend the game, but I just couldn't get tickets because the demand was so high, and I was watching it with my wife on the TV, and we were cruising. Hungary was cruising in the 80th minute. We were leading 2-1. We had chances to make it 3-1. We missed those chances. Kelleher made some amazing saves, and then suddenly Troy Parrott scores a second goal. It's 2-2, and then the stadium got nervous, everybody got nervous, and then the inevitable dagger in the 96th minute with literally the last kick of the game. And Troy Parrott scores the third goal, his hat-trick. He scored 5 goals in 4 days, 2 against Portugal, 3 against Hungary. An unbelievable performance and an unbelievable heartbreaking way for Hungary to lose the second spot, which would have meant a World Cup playoff. Hungary hasn't qualified for a World Cup for 40 years. This nation is cursed when it comes to qualifying for a World Cup. Ireland also hasn't qualified for a World Cup for a long time. So on one hand I was extremely sad, disappointed, gutted. Szoboszlai was crying on the pitch, and a lot of the Hungary fans were crying at home. But I was also, on the other hand, a little bit happy for the Irish. Once my disappointment died down in a few days, I was happy for the Irish because I love Ireland. I love the Irish fans. I have Ireland jerseys in my drawer, and yeah, I love Ireland. So I want them to do well, but just not. I didn't want them to do well at the expense of my nation, Hungary, and it's so undeserved because I think Hungary played better. Ireland were just more clinical. They basically scored 3 goals from like 4 or 5 chances. Hungary scored 2 goals from like 5 or 6 chances. So ultimately the long balls killed us, and we didn't have our best goalkeeper on the pitch. Balázs Tóth, who plays for Blackburn, who got injured, so Dibus played, and the goalkeeper made maybe an error of judgment not coming for that ball earlier. But yeah, the bottom line is it was a heartbreaking defeat for Hungary, no sugarcoating it, and it's a terrible way to go out of the World Cup qualifiers. But congratulations to Ireland, as tough as it is for me to say that. I'm also happy for them, and I hope that at least they qualify for the World Cup, and Hungary needs to regroup and go again in the next qualifiers. But yeah, Szoboszlai will not play in the next World Cup. That's 100% confirmed now, and it's undeserved because I think the Szoboszlai and the whole Hungary team played really well during the qualifiers in most games. There were just some unlucky moments that cost Hungary dearly. That's my assessment of the game. If you are an Irish fan, let me know how you felt after that Troy Parrott goal went in, because I'm sure that you guys went crazy in your celebrations. And as I said, even though it hurt a lot as a Hungary fan, I'm happy for you guys, and I want Ireland to qualify for the World Cup at least. If Hungary can't be there, at least hopefully Ireland and Northern Ireland qualifies as well. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.